New topic.
Go for it.
So I watched John Oliver's televangelist thing, and it was wonderful. He really called out all the bullshit involved with televangelism, and at the end, he literally announced that he had formed his own religion, his own church.
Our Lady of Perpetual Exemption.
Thank you. and and he asked people to send in seeds, which is what these televangelists refer to as money. Like you're planting a seed, and you'll get it back. You'll a return on your investment if you give it to God. So he told them to send their seeds to, and he gave a PO box. They got thousands of dollars and lots of seeds, lots of bags of seeds. He was like, someone sent this large bag of seeds, and then someone sent an actual bag of seeds, 50-pound like seed bag of seeds, and just tons of money. And he reiterated that he wanted money sent, and I'm sure there's going to be thousands and thousands of dollars that arrive by the time this thing's done.
We need to get it on
church.
this.
Let's do it. Let's make it happen. I call Pope, and I wear.
No, you can't call Pope. You can't call Pope. That's the
just
first rule of our church.
You totally know I'm Pope.
You have to vote.
Our church has multiple popes.
My YouTube life goal is to eventually have a studio like a televangelist studio. I go. Have you seen some of the
Stained glass in the background.
Oh Lord, what kind of graphics card are you using?
Have you seen some of these modern ones though? Like somebody put up a picture comparing like the American Idol studio to another televangelist studio, and the televangelist studio was like way more modern, way more expensive, and bigger than like the
Those
Hollywood theater.
televangelists have tens of millions of dollars of like petty cash to play with, and
Yep.
it's tax free.
Yep.
And I like, did you see the John Oliver special we're talking about?
I saw bits of it, but I didn't see the whole thing.
Just for maybe the crowd, there was one part where he plays this excerpt of a preacher talking, and he said something. I'm just paraphrasing here. But he's like, yeah, I bought a Cessna. I went out and bought that Cessna 350 jet. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And
and it's like, send me another one.
I bought one three times as expensive. Now I got two. And it was like, he was just like, obviously like being shameless about like, he's like, yeah, I spend money on jets. That's a preaching machine right there. I'm flying around spreading the gospel. Yeah. Like,
Dude,
justifying like this luxury jet.
one of the requirements for having like a church is that you need to meet on a regular basis.
Let's roll them out there. I bet we meet like.
It just so happens we do it
Every
every
Thursday.
Saturday. Well, or Thursday is the recording,
Or
Saturday is
Saturday.
the upload. Right. Like, I think that should count. They're on TV. We're on YouTube. What's the difference?
I think we should actually look into this. We need to come up with our own 10 commandments, or actually, let's make it like 11 commandments. We're one commandment better than those other shitty religions.
What's the new commandment?
I don't know.
Everybody come
Well,
up with
we-
your own
Well,
11.
I don't know
not
that
gonna-
we like the original ones.
I like a lot
Thou
of them.
shalt not steal. Thou shalt not covet. I bet you should love them. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife.
It seems like half of them are devoted to like not liking other gods and stuff. Are we that?
Well, we're not gonna.
You
Yeah,
could view it that way, or you could view it as not letting one thing take over your life.
thou shalt
Amazon
have no
sells
other
Pope hats, by
Patreons
the
before
way.
me.
Thou shalt use no other Amazon affiliate code.
All right. Well, look, I legitimately, we'll get Chiz on this. He'll make it happen, right? We'll let him be the deacon and the treasurer of the church. I've been calling him a dirty ethnic, but I think he's got a little Jew in him. Once I get my hands on him,
Wait, are you saying that you're wrong, or are you doubling down on the dirty
I'm
ethnic?
doubling down. I think he's not. I think he's a
Dude,
cheap,
that was the
dirty
best
ethnic.
line in the world.
Yeah.
What is it? He's got a little Spanish and a little Italian, and he's like, you mix two colors and you get a whole different color, like red and blue is purple. It turns out that Italian and Spanish is Puerto Rican. That's the greatest thing.
I'm gonna get a sample of Chiz's blood on this trip, and I'm gonna find out what kind of miscegenation is in his genome, in his character.
He does love a buck.
We should see who is the most pure. Do a blood test of all of us to see who's Pope. Who's the most pure of blood?
If I had to guess who was most pure, I would say it's me, because I feel like my blonde hair and that's all I'm really basing it on.
I
Blonde
think
hair,
my
and I feel-
parents are closer to God than any of your parents. I come
don't know
from
what that
serious
has to
pure
do with
stock.
being poor,
Nope.
though.
Nope. There's something about sins of the father, Woody, and that goes the other way too. If we're gonna
And-
start our own religion, can't take their credit and apply it to you.
No, I'm telling you, I was born to be Pope. These people see Mark of the Beast in an iWatch.
What if we started a religion and we found out Chiz was
I
a pedophile?
I thought, oh God,
That'd be perfect. Like, we need a token pedophile for the religion, right? Like,
Boom, now we're official.
Yeah.
The IRS hears that. When the IRS reads that we've got a sex offender within our clergy, they got to be legit. They gotta be legit.
that's
Right
one of the
in.
requirements.
Sign them
They
up.
couldn't get
Sign
away
'em
with
up.
this otherwise.
No tax. Yeah, that would be a great. That would be a great way.
That's like your certificate of authenticity.
Yeah, we
Yes.
increase revenues by like 30%. Just become a religion. Let's do it.
That sounds.
That would be
I
great.
have heard that the IRS is like cracking down on these things because of the pressure from John Oliver.
Well, fuck you, John Oliver. That was a perfectly legitimate loophole for us to to.
We can make it work as long as we
I
have like a
think we
couple
back off.
goofy rules.
I hope they do crack down on it though, because that really is disgusting to see those guys like flim flam artists, con men, really just scam artists. I use the term putting people together, but that means scamming someone or like manipulating them to get your goal done. That's what putting someone together means in my vocabulary. But like that's what they're doing to those old people in particular, and they pick up their brand of evil is their scam is most effective against those who are the weakest and need help the most, the people who are the most desperate among us, the people who really don't have that $50 to send in or that $100 to send in. They're not fooling some like corporate executive like, well honey, let's write them another check, I don't know, let's plant that fucking seed, am I right? Like no one's doing that. It's like some old grandma with like arthritis and her granddaughter like her granddaughter needs a surgery, and
If you're sending money
to
television evangelists or podcast evangelists or whatever, you've been bamboozled.
I feel they're extremely desperate.
I wonder
Yeah,
how
that's
much my
true.
parents have sent.
We could set like a $5,000 Patreon to save people.
I wonder if that's a question, because I know your father's done fairly well for himself. So like if he's gave 10% of everything, I bet he would be like 10% of everything I've got is nothing compared to how much I've gained because of all that I've given. I'd have a quarter of what I had now if I hadn't given that 10%. That's probably how he'd use it. But in reality, he'd have had another 10%.
You'd have 10% more.
He's not dumb.
I've been bribing my imaginary friends for years. They don't help me at all.
They don't. I remember one time I was in church and my mom gave me and I was young, me and my brothers, like my mom was into like the tithing thing and they'd send that little collection plate around and my dad was never really into that. Like, oh, well, of course he was the one going out and working for it. And so the little collection plate came around. My mom gave me and my brothers each $10 to put into the tray and passed it along. And I did like that old, tricky move where I acted like I laid it in and then like pocketed the 10. My other brother did the same. Youngest brother, too young to understand the schemy art we were doing. Just gave $10 to those, charlatans up at the front telling us we were going to burn forever. But yeah, I probably made like 60 or 70 bucks.
You boys want to go to church? Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
It's going to go. Can we go
Go
twice
to the
this
arcade later. That's funny. I never stole God's money. I never
No, it
stooped
wasn't
that low.
God's. Had I let go of it and then picked it back up, that's like putting your Monopoly piece down or something.
No.
then
You're
touching it,
so
moving
wrong
again.
about this. If Woody gives Hope $10 to pay the milkman and she pockets that money, then she just robbed the milkman.
No, but then Woody would know because there was no more milk. My parents wouldn't find out because none of God's blessings didn't show up that weekend.
Well, God's not real, so he's not able to defend himself. If he were real like the milkman, then he would surely come and say, "Hey, your son has my $10, ma'am."
I have to bring this up. Our milkman forgot his delivery this week.
Oh,
You have a milkman.
We do. He delivers
Wait.
amazing milk.
dude, that's the
Is Is it Oberweis?
There's a lot of things that are really cool about Woody's life change this year and moving to his new estate over there, and everything about that comes along with that. But I think the neatest thing that would be the most difficult to recreate if you were trying to is his goddamn milkman. Glass bottles. I mean, those big ones that you could beat a hobo to death with.
Yeah.
Totally could murder a man with that bottle. Those show up full of delicious milk that I'm sure is
milk.
like organic, like
yeah.
zero bullshit milk. Like
the expiry date on it is like half of what it is on store-bought milk. Like it's
yeah,
it's